I recently purchased a Deity VMic D3 Pro, which retails around $300 Canadian, a little bit less American. Unfortunately, I spent well over $600 on this microphone. Hang on. I just said I purchased this microphone for around $300 with taxes, but yet I spent over $600 on this microphone. How can that be? Let me explain. Like most people, I spent a bit of time on the web, on YouTube, reading some reviews, did some exploration. I was looking for a microphone to help me with the videos. I wanted to improve my audio quality. But I have a tendency to be cheap. And because of that, I started looking at really inexpensive solutions. My first inexpensive solution was relatively inexpensive and less than $50 Canadian, and I very quickly realized it wasn't that great. I spent a little bit more money, closer to about $80, and found another microphone, which actually was not too bad. The sound quality wasn't too bad, and it gave me the ability to connect XLR and a USB interface, and so it wasn't that bad. And it worked relatively well, but I didn't like the fact that I had this microphone in my shot. I ended up spending a bunch of money on a variety of different microphone stands, and while the quality was good, it wasn't that good. I want to give you a context for my pursuit of the ultimate microphone. Many years ago, almost 10 years ago, I bought my first Blue Yeti. Very amazing, wonderful microphone. You'll recognize the packaging here. Widely used. It's a USB mic. You can actually now get it in an XLR format as well. And in some of my earlier shots, you might have seen the microphone or in the shot. And while this was a wonderful mic, great, it had some issues. If you use them over a period of time, the USB connection starts to break as you plug it in and out, and every once in a while the connection would be suspect, and I wouldn't know if it stopped recording or not. And so I'd spend a bunch of time recording, and I find out that I wiggled the connection and it broke. And so I took a look at getting this fixed, and the amount of money to get it fixed meant that I had to get something else. Getting back on track with the notion of the boom mic, I did some exploration, and I found that this Movo mic here was supposed to be an amazing, wonderful mic, and it worked well with Canon cameras because it boosted the sound quality a little bit, and I had a Canon camera at the time, and so this worked actually not too bad. But then when I switched to my Lumix camera, I learned that the Rode Micro was a better option. And I did experiment with this on a boom mic for a little while, and that worked, but it just didn't have that power that I really wanted. And so I kept on experimenting with other options. And so over the past little while, I've experimented with a lot of different mics. And just a couple months ago, I finally bit the bullet, spent the $300, and got the Deity D3 Pro. I was considering a Rode NTG, but that was another $100 more, and the reviews that I've been reading from a variety of people that I respect, and this is an important point, from a variety of people I respect, indicated that the Deity would work exceptionally well with my Lumix infrastructure that I had and that I continue to use. I have a Lumix camera. I'm looking at upgrading to a higher level Lumix camera, and so the Deity is a wonderful fit in that type of an environment, so I did end up getting it. But I wanted to share this with you because I didn't have to spend as much money as I did. I went down a path of experimentation. Now, one of the positive things about the experimentation is that I did learn a lot about audio. I did learn a lot about audio interfaces. I also actually picked up an audio interface and an XLR mic, and I started experimenting with those and did the same thing, got a really cheap and expensive XLR mic, which actually worked not too bad, but it distorted and it wasn't that great. And so going to the Deity allowed me to use a mic that would work on my actual camera as a shotgun mic, but I could also put it up on a boom up above me, and I could connect it with XLR, and it worked just as well. And so now I've got this wonderful option. So what are the lessons learned here? What are the three key things that I want to share with you? I think one of the first things that I want to really get across is you do get what you pay for. Sure, a lot of people say that this little device here will work almost as good as something. Well, almost as good really isn't as good. And, I spent a fair amount of money on other devices that were close, but they didn't get me to where I wanted to be. I'm currently using this Deity mic on a boom right now, and it does work quite well. I've learned how it works. It is easy to configure. It's got a gain control on it that other devices that are even more expensive don't offer. So it gives me everything that I need. But one of the biggest mistakes I made is that I tried too many cheap solutions. And so I think this is a foolish thing for me to do. And unfortunately, I do have a tendency to spend $5 or $10 or $15 on gas driving around town to save $1 or $2. And I'm finally starting to learn that that's not necessarily wise. Not only will I waste money on gas, I waste my time. So the promise of a cheap solution is actually potentially a more costly solution if it takes you more time, and if you have to actually buy multiple cheap solutions and then you still buy the more expensive device which you should have bought in the first place. It can cost you more money. And this is a big mistake. Sometimes you have to weigh how much is your time worth. Do you have the time? The other key point that I want to share is that you want to find trusted voices. One of the challenges that we have, or one of the amazing things with YouTube and the internet, is that anybody can put information up, and everybody does put information up. And on YouTube, you will find dozens of reviews on all these mics that I had. And there's many people suggesting that this Takstar is just as good as XYZ mic. Well, it isn't. And when you really take a closer look at some of these people, and you take a look at the fact that really, are they experts in this particular area? Well, quite often they're not. They're just building and promoting their YouTube channel, and audio and things like this are one area where people can actually promote ideas, and it's a wonderful place to build reviews. So you've got to be really, really careful when you're looking at these reviews. Are these people credible? It's taken me a couple of years to really find 5 or 6 very credible sources. And when I start looking at who these credible sources are in a variety of different areas, you don't just take a look at the volume of subscriptions, because I've actually looked at some people with large numbers of subscribers, and they're just YouTube people. They really aren't experts in a particular area. You really want to find somebody who is an expert when it comes to, if you're looking at microphones, well, are they a professional videographer? Do they do sound? Is that a key part of what they're doing? Are they a sound engineer? Do they work in the discipline? Is that part of what they do? Are they really expert in a particular area? You don't just want to find somebody who's put up a channel on YouTube. You want to find an expert, because you want to use their expertise to save you time and save you efforts. You want to use other people's expertise to save you time and effort, because your time is valuable. I'm a consultant. I'm an educator, but I'm also a consultant. My time is very valuable. I charge a significant rate. And so if I spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, well, guess what? This $300 microphone just costs a lot more if I don't use my time wisely. So you have to find the right voices. Sometimes you have to get on the phone and call somebody. And that's also what I did as well. I contacted some people I know in the industry, made a phone call, took a look at a couple of key videos. When I finally pulled the trigger on this Deity mic, I made a well-informed decision, which I should have made a long time ago. So you can actually save yourself time and money by being more judicious in terms of who you're listening to, in terms of experts. And that's one of the most important factors here. Who are you listening to as your experts? Who is advising you? Where are you getting expertise? Just poking around on YouTube and comparing some reviews might help you get a part of the way there. Going to Wirecutter or going to, Best Reviews, maybe even going to something like Consumer Reports might be relatively okay. But, these are just reviews, and you know what you need to do, but you also should be able to identify who experts are in a particular area and find those experts and use their advice in a very judicious way. So you can save yourself some time. The final key is, what do you really want to be able to do right now? What is the priority? Is that device, that microphone, that piece of hardware, is that piece of software going to save you time and effort? Does it fit into your workflow? Is it going to make you more efficient? Sure, it might cost you $300. It might cost you $400, but it could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of your time if it increases your efficiency in your workflow. That is something that has taken me way too long to figure out. It is about that workflow. It is understanding how you can become more efficient. When I go to do these videos, this video right now, I have this microphone on a boom mic. I simply turn on my camera and I set up the recording on my iPad and I'm running. This is working. It's taken me a while to get to this point where I've got this level of efficiency, but now that I'm here, this is going to save me minutes per day and hours per week. Hours per week is many hours per month and many hours over the year, and my time is valuable. This can save me a lot of money. This can make me more efficient, and this can enable me to put out better ideas, better videos, and help inform other people. So, in summary, be careful about the devices that you're buying. Be careful about the voices that you are listening to. Choose your advisors wisely. Sure, spend some time on YouTube. Sure, spend some time on the net. Find accurate advisors. Maybe find some local people you can talk to as well. Get on the phone. That can save you some time. But don't spend so much time researching something that isn't judicious. Be careful. Don't spend $10 in gas to save $1. Don't spend 3 or 4 hours of your time to save 1 minute or 2 minutes. Your time is valuable. You need to find that balance. Be clear about what you want to do. Is this going to increase your efficiency? Is this going to help you with your workflow? Be careful about that. You want to be more productive. And if it will, sometimes spending a bit more money initially on something and maybe not trying to save a few dollars can save you time, effort in the long run. Don't make the mistake that I did. Don't spend $600 or $700 on a $300 microphone. Maybe you need to spend the money at the outset. Do your research, do your due diligence, but don't waste your time. Be efficient. Make sure that you address those key areas that will make you more efficient.